Have you ever thought about a battle that led to the start of the Sawad fitna? What could drive Husayn ibn Ali and his small group of followers to face certain death against a vastly superior force? And how did this seemingly futile sacrifice forever alter the course of history? Let us find out in today's video. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Naseeha Studio. Today in this video we will be talking about one of the greatest battles fought in the history of Islam, which also started the course of Sawad fitna, and which signifies conflict between the ideal of excellence and the ideal of destruction. The Battle of Karbala, fought on October 10th, 680 AD, 10th of Muharram, 61 AH in the Islamic calendar, is one of the most poignant and significant events in Islamic history. It marked a pivotal moment for the Shia branch of Islam and continues to resonate deeply within the Muslim community worldwide. This battle was not just a clash of swords and spears, but an extraordinary struggle between principles and power, truth and tyranny, justice and injustice. The historical context. The consequence of Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, death. The death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in 632 AD, left the nascent Muslim community in a state of uncertainty and turmoil. Muhammad had been the unifying figure, and his passing created a vacuum of leadership that needed to be filled urgently. The question of who should succeed him as the leader of the Muslim Ummah community became a contentious issue that would have long-lasting repercussions. The first caliph, Abu Bakr, immediately after the Prophet's death, peace be upon him, a meeting was convened at Saqifa, where the Muslim community leaders gathered to decide on his successor. Despite the differing opinions, Abu Bakr, a close companion and father-in-law of Muhammad, peace be upon him, was elected as the first caliph. His selection was based on his long-standing support for the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his prominence within the community. Abu Bakr's caliphate was marked by efforts to consolidate the Muslim territories and quell various uprisings. He worked to ensure the stability of the Islamic State, but his reign was short-lived, lasting only 2 years until his death in 634 AD, the caliphate of Umar and Uthman. Following Abu Bakr's death, Umar ibn al-Khattab was chosen as the second caliph. His 10-year reign was characterized by significant expansion of the Islamic Empire, reaching into Persia, the Byzantine territories, and Egypt. Umar implemented administrative and social reforms that strengthened the governance of the rapidly growing empire. His leadership, however, ended abruptly when he was assassinated in 644 AD. Uthman ibn Affan succeeded Umar as the third caliph. Uthman's rule saw further expansion and consolidation, but his administration faced increasing internal dissent. Accusations of nepotism and favoritism, particularly towards his own Umayyad clan, led to widespread dissatisfaction. This unrest culminated in Uthman's assassination in 656 AD, plunging the Muslim community into deeper conflict. The Caliphate of Ali and the First Fitna. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was elected as the fourth caliph amid the turmoil following Uthman's death. Ali's caliphate was fraught with challenges from the start. His legitimacy was contested by several factions, leading to a series of civil wars known as the First Fitna, 656-661 AD. One of the significant opponents of Ali was Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, the governor of Syria and a relative of Uthman. Muawiyah demanded retribution for Uthman's murder and refused to recognize Ali's authority. The conflict between Ali and Muawiyah culminated in the Battle of Siffin in 657 AD, which ended in a stalemate and further negotiations. Ali's rule was further weakened by internal divisions, including the rise of the Kharijites, a radical faction that opposed both Ali and Muawiyah. In 661 AD, Ali was assassinated by a Kharijite while praying in the Mosque of Kufa. His death marked the end of the Rashidun, rightly guided caliphate, and set the stage for the Umayyad dynasty. The rise of the Umayyad dynasty. After Ali's assassination, his eldest son, Hassan, briefly assumed the caliphate. However, Hassan soon abdicated in favor of Muawiyah, seeking to avoid further bloodshed and hoping for a unified Muslim community. This abdication allowed Muawiyah to establish the Umayyad dynasty, with its capital in Damascus. Muawiyah's rule, 661-680 AD, was characterized by efforts to consolidate power and establish a hereditary monarchy. While his governance brought relative stability and administrative efficiency, it also deepened the divisions within the Muslim community. Muawiyah's policies favored the Umayyad clan, exacerbating tensions between different factions. The rise of Yazid. Muawiyah's death in 680 AD led to the ascension of his son, Yazid, to the caliphate. Yazid's appointment was controversial, as it marked a significant departure from the previous practice of electing caliphs based on merit and consensus. Many Muslims, including prominent figures like Husayn ibn Ali, viewed Yazid's rule as illegitimate and tyrannical. Yazid's demand for allegiance from Husayn ibn Ali, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was met with staunch refusal. Husayn's rejection of Yazid's authority was rooted in his belief that Yazid's leadership was unjust and contrary to Islamic principles. This refusal set the stage for the fateful journey of Husayn and his followers to Kufa, culminating in the tragic Battle of Karbala. The historical context leading to the Battle of Karbala is a complex tapestry of political intrigue, power struggles, and ideological conflicts. The events following the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, laid the groundwork for the profound divisions within the Muslim community, divisions that the Battle of Karbala would crystallize and which continue to echo through Islamic history to this day. The journey to Karbala. Husayn's decision. Husayn ibn Ali faced a pivotal decision upon Yazid's ascension to the caliphate. Yazid's demand for allegiance represented not just a political move, but a fundamental question about the moral direction of the Islamic community. Husayn, as the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and a symbol of piety and justice, viewed Yazid's rule as antithetical to the principles of Islam. Refusing to pledge allegiance was not merely a personal defiance, but a stand against tyranny and corruption. The letters from Kufa. While in Mecca, Husayn began receiving numerous letters from the people of Kufa. These letters, filled with promises of support and pleas for leadership, urged Husayn to come to Kufa and lead them against the oppressive Umayyad regime. The Kufans expressed their dissatisfaction with Yazid's rule and their longing for a leader who embodied the values of justice and righteousness. Encouraged by these messages, Husayn saw an opportunity to stand against tyranny and uphold the values of his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Weighing the risks. Husayn was well aware of the risks involved in such a journey. The political climate was fraught with danger, and the Umayyad regime would undoubtedly perceive his move as a direct challenge to their authority. However, Husayn's decision was rooted in a profound sense of duty to protect the integrity of Islam. He believed that yielding to Yazid would compromise the core values of the faith and set a dangerous precedent for future generations. Husayn consulted with his family and followers, making it clear that the journey would be perilous. He offered them the choice to stay behind, but their loyalty and faith were unwavering. They chose to accompany him, fully aware of the potential consequences. The journey begins. In September 680 AD, Husayn, along with his family and a small group of loyal followers, set out from Mecca towards Kufa. The caravan included men, women, and children, all united by their commitment to Husayn's cause. This journey was not just a physical trek, but a profound moral and spiritual quest, symbolizing a stand against oppression and a dedication to upholding justice. The interceptions. As Husayn's caravan approached Kufa, news of his journey reached Yazid's governor in the region, who dispatched forces to intercept and prevent Husayn from reaching the city. The first significant encounter occurred near the outskirts of Kufa, where Husayn's group was confronted by a contingent led by al-Hur ibn Yazid al-Tamimi. Al-Hur, initially under orders to detain Husayn, engaged in a tense dialogue with him. Husayn's eloquence and moral authority had a profound impact on al-Hur, who ultimately allowed Husayn to continue, albeit under surveillance. This encounter underscored the tension and uncertainty that marked the journey. The arrival at Karbala on the 2nd of Muharram, 61 AH, October 2nd, 680 AD, Husayn and his followers reached the plains of Karbala. Yazid's forces, under the command of Umar ibn Sawad, had already established a strong presence, effectively surrounding Husayn's camp. The strategic location of Karbala, with the Euphrates River nearby, became a focal point of the ensuing siege. The siege and struggle. The situation quickly deteriorated as Yazid's forces cut off access to the Euphrates, denying Husayn and his followers the vital water supply. The scorching desert heat and lack of water intensified the suffering within Husayn's camp. Despite these dire conditions, Husayn remained resolute. Negotiations with Umar ibn Sa'ad yielded no respite, as Yazid's orders were clear: Husayn must either submit or face annihilation. The night of Ashura. On the eve of Ashura, Husayn gathered his followers for a final address. He spoke of their dire situation, reaffirming their freedom to leave and avoid the impending battle. However, his companions, driven by unwavering faith and loyalty, chose to stay by his side. They spent the night in prayer and reflection, preparing themselves for the inevitable confrontation. The significance of the journey. The journey to Karbala was a profound testament to Husayn's commitment to justice and moral integrity. It was a journey of faith, marked by resilience and unwavering dedication to the principles of Islam. Husayn's decision to confront Yazid, despite the overwhelming odds, epitomized the struggle against tyranny and oppression. This journey, culminating in the tragic events at Karbala, would leave an indelible mark on Islamic history and continue to inspire generations. Husayn's journey to Karbala was not just a physical voyage, but a moral odyssey that highlighted the eternal struggle between righteousness and tyranny. His decision to stand against Yazid's rule, despite the imminent dangers, embodied the spirit of sacrifice and steadfast faith. This journey set the stage for the epic and tragic Battle of Karbala, a defining moment that would resonate through the annals of history and continue to inspire the quest for justice and truth. The Battle of Karbala. The siege. After arriving at Karbala on the 2nd of Muharram, 61 AH, October 2nd, 680 AD, Husayn ibn Ali and his followers found themselves surrounded by Yazid's forces, commanded by Umar ibn Sa'ad. The small group of around 72 men, women, and children was cut off from accessing the Euphrates River, their vital water source. The Umayyad army, numbering in the thousands, had strict orders to force Husayn into submission or eliminate him. The situation grew increasingly dire as the days passed. Husayn and his followers faced extreme heat and dehydration, exacerbating their suffering. Despite these harsh conditions, Husayn remained steadfast, refusing to surrender to Yazid's tyranny. His resolve inspired his followers, who shared his commitment to the principles of justice and righteousness. The night of Ashura. On the eve of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, Husayn gathered his companions for a final address. He spoke of the impending battle and reiterated that they were free to leave under the cover of darkness. However, his companions, bound by loyalty and faith, chose to stay and fight alongside him. They spent the night in prayer, reflection, and preparation, knowing that their sacrifice would have profound implications for the future of Islam. The day of Ashura. As the sun rose on the 10th of Muharram, 61 AH, October 10th, 680 AD, the stage was set for the tragic confrontation. Husayn's camp, though vastly outnumbered, displayed extraordinary courage and determination. The battle began with individual duels, a customary practice in Arab warfare, but quickly escalated into a full-scale assault by the Umayyad forces, the martyrdom of Husayn's companions. One by one, Husayn's companions fought valiantly, but were overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of the enemy. Among the first to fall were the Banu Hashim members, the Prophet Muhammad's family, peace be upon him. Husayn's half-brother, Abbas ibn Ali, known for his valor, made a desperate attempt to retrieve water for the thirsty children in the camp, but was brutally slain near the riverbank. His death was a significant blow to the morale of Husayn's followers. Husayn's sons, nephews, and other close relatives also fought with unparalleled bravery. Ali Akbar, Husayn's eldest son, and Qasim ibn Hassan, the young son of Hassan ibn Ali, both met their end on the battlefield, embodying the spirit of sacrifice that defined the battle. The sight of these young men falling in combat stirred profound sorrow and resolve among the remaining fighters. The tragic fate of Ali Asghar. One of the most heart-wrenching moments of the battle was the death of Husayn's infant son, Ali Asghar. In a desperate plea for water, Husayn held the baby up before the enemy forces, seeking compassion for the innocent child. Instead, an arrow struck Ali Asghar, killing him in his father's arms. This act of brutality underscored the merciless nature of the opposition and further galvanized Husayn's resolve. Husayn's final stand. As the day progressed, the casualties mounted, and Husayn found himself increasingly isolated. Weakened by wounds and exhaustion, he continued to fight with unwavering determination. His final moments on the battlefield were marked by acts of profound courage and defiance. Husayn, bearing the weight of his family's legacy and the principles of Islam, faced his enemies with dignity and strength. Eventually, Husayn was surrounded and fell to the relentless assault of Yazid's forces. His body was desecrated, and his head was severed and sent to Yazid as a grim trophy. The brutal treatment of Husayn's body was a stark contrast to the nobility and righteousness he embodied in life. The aftermath. The captivity of the women and children. Following the massacre, the surviving women and children from Husayn's camp, including his sister Zainab and his son Ali Zayn al-Abidin, were taken captive. They were paraded through the streets of Kufa and Damascus, a tactic intended to humiliate and demoralize them. However, Zainab's eloquent and defiant speeches in the courts of Yazid turned the tide of public sentiment, exposing the cruelty and injustice of the Umayyad regime. The impact on the Islamic world. The Battle of Karbala had profound and far-reaching consequences. For the Shia Muslims, Husayn's martyrdom became a symbol of resistance against oppression and a cornerstone of their faith. The annual commemoration of Ashura, marked by mourning rituals, processions, and reenactments, serves as a powerful reminder of Husayn's sacrifice and the principles for which he stood. The events at Karbala also deepened the schism between Sunni and Shia Muslims, influencing theological, political, and cultural developments within the Islamic world. Husayn's stand against tyranny resonated with future generations, inspiring movements and revolutions across different eras and regions. Modern relevance. The legacy of Karbala continues to resonate in contemporary times, serving as a powerful symbol of the struggle for justice and the fight against oppression. Leaders and activists across the world draw parallels between their struggles and the principles exemplified by Husayn and his followers. The story of Karbala remains a timeless testament to the enduring power of faith, integrity, and the human spirit's quest for justice. The Battle of Karbala, though fought centuries ago, remains a vivid and poignant reminder of the timeless struggle between good and evil. Husayn ibn Ali's unwavering stand against injustice and his ultimate sacrifice have left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of the Muslim world and beyond. The legacy of Karbala serves as a beacon of hope and resilience, urging humanity to strive for justice, truth, and righteousness, no matter the odds. Husayn's martyrdom at Karbala is not merely a historical event, but a profound moral and spiritual legacy that continues to inspire and guide those who seek justice and righteousness in the face of tyranny and oppression. The battle's narrative and its aftermath highlight the enduring importance of standing up for one's beliefs and the profound impact such a stand can have on the course of history. Now let us discuss some of the key events that occurred during the Battle of Karbala. Key events in the battle. Beginning of the battle. The battle commenced at dawn with single combat, a traditional practice in Arab warfare where individual warriors from each side would face off. Husayn's followers, though fewer in number, displayed extraordinary valor and skill in these duels. However, the overwhelming numbers of Yazid's army soon shifted the fight into a chaotic and brutal melee. The death of Abbas ibn Ali. Abbas ibn Ali, known for his unwavering loyalty and exceptional bravery, was the half-brother of Husayn ibn Ali. Born to Ali ibn Abi Talib and Banin, Abbas was raised with a deep sense of honor, valor, and dedication to his family and faith. He was affectionately called Qamar Bani Hashim, the moon of the Hashim clan, for his striking appearance and noble demeanor. His role as the standard-bearer of Husayn's army at Karbala was both symbolic and strategic, reflecting his importance and the trust Husayn placed in him. The dire situation. As the siege of Karbala progressed, the situation for Husayn's camp became increasingly desperate. The scorching desert heat and the blockade of access to the Euphrates River caused immense suffering due to thirst and dehydration, particularly affecting the women and children. The cries of the children for water deeply pained Abbas, who felt a profound sense of duty to alleviate their suffering. The mission to fetch water. On the day of Ashura, Abbas sought permission from Husayn to attempt to fetch water from the Euphrates River. Recognizing the dire need and Abbas's determination, Husayn granted him permission. Abbas prepared himself for the perilous mission, fully aware of the dangers that lay ahead. Carrying a water skin, he mounted his horse and set out towards the river, determined to bring back water for the parched camp. The courageous attempt. Abbas's approach to the river was marked by his exceptional combat skills and indomitable spirit. Despite the heavy guard posted by Yazid's forces to prevent access to the water, Abbas fought his way through the enemy lines with remarkable valor. His swift and powerful strikes cleared a path to the riverbank, allowing him to fill the water skin, the ambush. With the water skin filled, Abbas turned back towards the camp, his heart set on delivering the precious water to the thirsty children. However, as he made his way back, the Umayyad forces, realizing the critical importance of preventing him from succeeding, launched a fierce attack to stop him. Abbas fought valiantly, protecting the water skin with all his might. The fall of Abbas. Despite his heroic efforts, Abbas was eventually overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of the enemy. His right arm was severed in the fierce combat, yet Abbas continued to hold the water skin with his left hand and pressed on. Soon after, his left arm was also cut off, but Abbas, undeterred, attempted to carry the water skin with his teeth, driven by his determination to fulfill his mission. Finally, a fatal blow struck Abbas on the head, causing him to fall to the ground. In his last moments, Abbas called out to his brother, Husayn, expressing his sorrow for not being able to fulfill his promise to bring water to the camp. His death was not only a significant loss in terms of military strength, but also a profound emotional blow to Husayn and his followers. Husayn rushed to the side of his fallen brother, overwhelmed with grief. Abbas's body lay near the riverbank, surrounded by the remnants of the fierce battle he had waged. Husayn's sorrow was deep and palpable as he mourned the loss of his beloved brother and staunchest supporter. Abbas's death symbolized the extreme sacrifice and unwavering loyalty that characterized the stand at Karbala. The heroism of the young fighters. Among Husayn's followers were several young men who displayed remarkable bravery. Ali Akbar, Husayn's eldest son, epitomized the spirit of sacrifice. His resemblance to his great-grandfather, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made his presence on the battlefield deeply symbolic. Ali Akbar fought fiercely, but was ultimately struck down, causing immense grief to Husayn and the entire camp. Qasim ibn Hassan, the teenage son of Hassan ibn Ali, also displayed heroic valor. Despite his youth, he sought permission to fight and proved his courage on the battlefield before being martyred. These young fighters' willingness to sacrifice their lives highlighted the deep faith and commitment of Husayn's followers. The death of Husayn. Husayn ibn Ali's death at Karbala stands as one of the most poignant and impactful moments in Islamic history. Husayn's martyrdom is the defining event of the Battle of Karbala, symbolizing the ultimate sacrifice for truth and justice. Husayn's resolve. As the battle intensified, Husayn witnessed the martyrdom of his closest family members and loyal companions. Despite the overwhelming grief and the dire situation, Husayn's resolve remained unbroken. He continued to encourage and lead his followers, embodying the spirit of steadfastness and faith. The Last Stand. In the afternoon of Ashura, Husayn found himself increasingly isolated. His companions had all been martyred, and the camp had been decimated. Despite his exhaustion and numerous wounds, Husayn continued to fight with unwavering determination. His strength and courage in the face of certain death became a testament to his character and his mission. Husayn advanced towards the battlefield, calling out to the enemy forces, reminding them of his lineage and his relationship to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He appealed to their conscience, urging them to recognize the injustice they were perpetrating. However, his appeals fell on deaf ears, and the soldiers continued their relentless attack. The final moments. Severely weakened by the continuous assault, Husayn eventually fell to the ground. Despite his critical condition, he continued to fight, symbolizing his unyielding spirit. The Umayyad forces, recognizing the significance of Husayn's death, surrounded him. Shimr ibn Dil Jawshan, one of the commanders of Yazid's army, approached the fallen Husayn. In his final moments, Husayn was brutally attacked and his body mutilated. Shimr struck the final blow, severing Husayn's head from his body. Husayn's death marked the culmination of the Battle of Karbala, and his martyrdom became a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression and tyranny. Desecration of the body. After his death, Husayn's body was desecrated by the Umayyad forces. His head was placed on a lance and sent to Yazid in Damascus as a grim trophy. The sight of Husayn's severed head caused immense sorrow among his surviving family members and followers, but it also served to galvanize opposition against the Umayyad regime. The brutal treatment of Husayn's body stood in stark contrast to the nobility and righteousness he embodied in life. The desecration further highlighted the cruelty and tyranny of Yazid's forces, strengthening the resolve of those who would continue to honor Husayn's legacy. The loyalty of John ibn Huwai. John ibn Huwai, an elderly African servant who had served in the household of Abu Dhar al-Ghifari before joining Husayn, demonstrated remarkable loyalty. Despite his advanced age, John sought Husayn's permission to fight and ultimately fell in battle, embodying the universal appeal of Husayn's cause. The valor of Habib ibn Madahir. Habib ibn Madahir, a childhood friend of Husayn and a revered companion, was one of the last to join Husayn at Karbala. Despite his advanced years, Habib fought valiantly and encouraged others to stand firm. His death was a significant loss, and his bravery continues to be celebrated in the annual commemorations of Ashura. The bravery of Wahab ibn Abdullah. Wahab ibn Abdullah, a newlywed Christian who had converted to Islam, fought alongside Husayn at Karbala. His and his wife's conversion and subsequent sacrifice illustrate the inclusive and transcendent nature of Husayn's message. Wahab's valor and the martyrdom of his wife, who also perished in the battle, are poignant reminders of the diverse support Husayn garnered. The martyrdom of Muslim ibn Awsaja. Muslim ibn Awsaja was one of the oldest companions of Husayn. His courage and leadership were pivotal during the early stages of the battle. As one of the first martyrs at Karbala, his death galvanized the remaining fighters, underscoring the gravity of their struggle. The defiance of Zainab bint Ali. After the battle, Zainab bint Ali, Husayn's sister, played a crucial role in preserving the memory of Karbala. Her eloquent speeches in the courts of Kufa and Damascus denounced Yazid's tyranny and highlighted the righteousness of Husayn's cause. Zainab's defiance turned public opinion against the Umayyads and ensured that the martyrdom of Husayn would not be forgotten. The Battle of Karbala stands as a monumental event in Islamic history, embodying the eternal struggle between justice and tyranny, truth and falsehood, and righteousness and oppression. Husayn ibn Ali's decision to stand against Yazid's unjust rule was a profound act of faith and courage, one that resonated deeply with the principles of Islam as taught by his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. A legacy of sacrifice and integrity. Husayn's unwavering resolve and ultimate sacrifice on the plains of Karbala have left an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of Muslims worldwide. His martyrdom is a symbol of resistance against injustice, serving as a powerful reminder of the values that define the core of Islamic teachings: integrity, honor, and unwavering faith in the face of adversity. The impact on Shia Islam. For Shia Muslims, the events of Karbala are not just historical occurrences, but foundational to their identity and religious practice. The annual commemoration of Ashura is a time of deep mourning and reflection, where the sacrifices of Husayn and his followers are remembered through rituals, processions, and public displays of grief. This period of mourning reinforces the principles of standing against oppression and the importance of upholding justice. Influence on Sunni Islam. While the events of Karbala hold particular significance for Shia Muslims, the narrative of Husayn's sacrifice also resonates within Sunni Islam. The story of Karbala is acknowledged and respected, illustrating the universal Islamic values of standing up for justice and righteousness, even at great personal cost. It serves as a unifying element, reminding all Muslims of their shared heritage and the enduring principles of their faith. Modern relevance. The legacy of Karbala continues to inspire contemporary movements for justice and human rights. Husayn's stand against tyranny has been a source of inspiration for various leaders and activists who see parallels in their struggles against modern forms of oppression. The battle's narrative reinforces the idea that the fight for justice is timeless and transcends specific historical contexts. A timeless testament, Husayn ibn Ali's martyrdom at Karbala transcends the bounds of time and geography. It is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the human spirit's quest for justice. The principles embodied in Husayn's stand, courage, sacrifice, and steadfastness, remain relevant and inspiring to people of all backgrounds and beliefs. The enduring lessons of Karbala. The Battle of Karbala teaches profound lessons about the importance of standing up for one's principles, the value of sacrifice for a greater good, and the power of faith in overcoming tyranny. It underscores the idea that true leadership is rooted in moral integrity and the willingness to fight for justice, regardless of the consequences. The Battle of Karbala is a poignant and powerful chapter in Islamic history, encapsulating the essence of the struggle between good and evil. Husayn ibn Ali's unwavering stand against injustice and his ultimate sacrifice continue to inspire and guide those who seek to uphold the values of truth, justice, and righteousness. His legacy serves as a beacon of hope and resilience, urging humanity to strive for a world where justice prevails and tyranny is defeated. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more content celebrating the Islamic heritage. Your support really helps spread these important stories and teachings.